So, 2025, Marine Kingdom has injected some unscrupulous women into the world to, useless men. To be honest, since I was a child, we've been hearing these things. They keep repeating, religious institutions. They keep repeating these things that women, very beautiful women, especially fair women, that they are of the water has in Miri, and the reasons why they are here is just to destroy lives, especially the life of men that lack sexual discipline. So they keep repeating this statement, and what it does here is that it creates this fear, not just for beautiful women, but for traditional institutions. Because we know that in Ordinary, in our indigenous spirituality, Fondine Ordinary, the concept of marriage spirit in Miri, it is so embedded that you cannot exist without knowing them or without performing some water rituals and water rites. But from our indigenous perspective, what do we know as Marine Kingdom? Who do we see as, what do we know them for? Do we know Marine Kingdom as entities that want to inject, their characteristics is it that they inject women into the world to corrupt men and render men useless? What do we know as the marine spirits? Now, as a traditionalist or as a cultural researcher, I will tell you that within the Igbo context of water spirits in Miri, their major characteristics is that they abhor anything that they view as indiscipline or some sort of unholiness. Now, what does it mean here now? There are some certain rituals that if you want to engage in as onye nemi hodinani, as onye miri, you would not be sexually active. Now, it falls under the purview of what we refer to as nso. In ordinary, we are aware that ndị mmiri nwere nso, water spirits, they have morality. They have things that they make sure that you do not do. If you want to relate with them, if you want to align with them, if you want them to grant you favors, if you want to be in some sort of a peaceful alignment with them, you will not involve in some activities that they view as dirty. So when pastors come in to say that the marine spirit has injected a certain group of women from the marine world with the purpose of destroying men through sex, they are in direct contrast with what we relate with these entities, this spirit, what we know them as. And where is our knowledge coming from? From the knowledge of our indigenous culture. Before Christianity, before colonization, we are aware that our ancestors were deep into the practice of water sacrifices, ordinary spirit, water spirits. They are involved. This is where in each community, we see that this community has a certain kind of water that is dedicated to this spirit or this deity. It has some history that is attached to it in our community, or we even believe deep in our cosmology. We believe that and we're in this in a so this marine spirits that they are making reference to, how we understand it from ordinary perspective is that we have been in communication. In fact, that this water was our home even before we reincarnated and took this mortal form. So why then are we not supposed to believe this pastors when they now say that marine spirits have injected some individuals into the world to destroy and render men useless? So this is to show you that I don't know which spirits that they are communicating with, or they are still sharing this information with them. But we need to start learning about these things from our cultural perspective. The same thing as dreams. Now, before I began to know or read or interact with ordinary, if I have a dream where I see a snake, I become fearful. I have this deep-rooted fear. Or if I see myself playing in the water or in the market or with masquerades, I begin to fear and panic and have panic attacks. My anxiety is through the roof. But because I'm now studying and participating in cultural rituals and traditions from the way my ancestors are viewing it, I'm now having a different orientation, in the sense that I am now aware that if I dream and I see myself in a dream, there's a traditional interpretation to it. It could mean that I'm getting a message from my spirit entity, because in my community, we view snakes as messengers from deities or from spirits. In my community, you don't kill a eke. Imam Bunwaike, you don't do that. We perceive it, we perceive it as a messenger. So if it comes into our home, we would find a stick and usher it out. If you mistakenly kill it, you now perform some traditional rituals, because we see it as a sacred animal. We do not worship it. We see it as a sacred animal. At the same time, I dream and I see a masquerade. I could, maybe it is my ancestors that came to greet me in my dream. It could be something that is related to my indigenous roots. If I see myself in the water, it could mean that I went for a visit, or I need to perform a water ritual. These are just traditional interpretations. But because of Christianity, we are taught to, if you see these things in your dream, you start conversion and start thinking about your neighbor that gave you a bad eye. So we need to start, start relating and revisiting this interpretation and asking these men of God where they get their interpretations from. And I know that many people are going to begin to start. I know I did say you should start, be sexually, be everywhere. You have to have sexual discipline, because I get, maybe if they tell me that the reason why they are doing or saying all these things is because they want to encourage sexual discipline. I understand it, which is something you can do without trying to perpetuate some sort of lie. So if they're saying that they want to encourage men to be sexually disciplined, oh yes, then it's you don't need to lie. It is something you put out there. If somebody wants to be indisciplined, or whatever, I don't believe in Ometereburu. If you do and if you lose guard, you will see anyhow. So that's just it. But the bottom line here is that from a traditional perspective, not just Igbo, even in Yoruba, if you ask them how do they relate with Oshun and all their water spirits, they will tell you that they are guided by some certain degrees of morality and principles that they do not defile. If not, they'll no longer be in alignment, and they'll not have to perform series of appeasement rituals and ritual that is going to reconnect them to be at that state of righteousness or holiness for them to be able to interact with these water spirits. So this is just the indigenous interpretation, the understanding of our relationship with marine spirits. So pastors, they need to tell us where they're getting their messages from. And meanwhile, this shirt I'm wearing was produced by me. I don't know if you can see, but it's written Ijago. So if you want these kinds of t-shirts, you can contact me and I will gladly, work my magic for you. You can give me your designs, or I can do a design for you. But ultimately, this is my handwork. Ciao.